What's up? We back. We've been on a little break, like the school kids. We took us an Easter break, So we back. This is the NFL draft week, which is an exciting week. So, before we start the show, I'm gonna ask everybody, what draft made you excited about the draft? All of us have, at one point in time, we got interested in watching the draft. The draft became an event, and it always was a player that made us interested. So we're gonna start with our guest this week. Introduce yourself to the people and let them know what made you interested in the draft or what player.
Right, my name is Chris Moore, and I'm originally from Indiana, so I'm a huge Colts fan. What got me interested in the NFL draft was in 1993. We had two quarterbacks. They was arguing about who should go first, one being Rick Meyer and the other one being Drew Bledsoe. And of course, the Patriots got Drew Bledsoe, and the rest is history as far as his career is concerned, and Rick Meyer's career went another way.
Okay. We got big Lurch in the building, the big cheetah, big subwoofer. What made you interested in the draft, Big Ralph?
The 06 draft with Reggie Bush, by far. I ain't really
Another cheater.
Whatever, they do. I ain't really watched the NFL draft before that. I was more watching the NBA draft. But when USC and Texas was going against each other now, and Reggie Bush was just dope. One of the coolest running backs I've seen coming out of college at that time.
Okay, for me, it would be the 94 draft. I could say 89, but 94 when Marshall Faulk came out. I like Marshall Faulk. First day I seen him play in college, and so I was real excited about who he was going to. So I wanted to watch the draft just to see what team he was going to, and the Colts ended up selecting him, and that's when I started rooting for the Colts until they got paid. So I'm gonna say the 94 draft, which is why now all of us like the draft. So now, this draft week, we're gonna start our show. Let's go. Welcome back. We back Talkin Sports with the Know-It-Alls. With your boy Jimmy, the Know-It-All. I got my boy Chris. I got Big Lurch. We're gonna talk the draft. I love the draft because I love to see fans get excited about the upcoming season. Attention, you Bear fans. I know y'all finna get super excited for a 5-win team. I'm already calling it. So, Chris, I'm calling you out. 5 wins, 6 tops. So, with your Bulls, I said 6 seed. Y'all doubted me, so they came in 6. So, give me y'all 5 wins. So, we're gonna talk about the draft. We're gonna go around the panel, and everybody's team. We're gonna ask what they think their team need, and we're gonna go from there. So, we're gonna start with the visitor this week. We're gonna make Ralph sit and wait. We're gonna start with my man Chris. What you think the Colts need, other than another quarterback?
That would be nice. So they have a different starter for the last 4 or 5 years in a row. What they need is a couple of positions. One, primarily need a new wide receiver to go opposite of Pittman, so the Matty Ice can have another target, and they also need to protect Matty Ice by having a left tackle.
Yeah, because he can't move for nothing.
Nothing at all. Statue out there. And they need some depth on defense in the secondary, backup safety, maybe the edge rusher to help the team as well.
The Colts, and I'm going to have you chime in, Ralph. A team actually, with their structure, with their general manager, that I'm really whatever they need. They one of the few teams I think they're gonna address it in the draft because their general manager is so good and he done built a solid squad. So he's hit on so many draft picks. So even with the offensive lineman, it wouldn't surprise me he find an offensive lineman in the 4th round and he be a monster, this year. The receiver thing, yeah, because the other receivers they drafted didn't pan out. So it wouldn't surprise me if they go try to get one of them Ohio State boys, or some USC boys. They right there. The coach right there on the verge of being real good. So they one of them teams that they could draft for depth and get a start out the draft. They not a team that's going in the draft desperate. That's what what you think, Ralph?
I'm gonna be a hater.
Of course.
I hope they don't draft nobody. Get nothing. No, but they definitely can use some secondary help. Backup safety will definitely help them. You definitely gonna have to get better on that line because we all know Matt Ryan is not moving.
Stationary.
He's stationary. He's not gonna move. He's gonna sit in that pocket. He's gonna get killed for the most part. So they definitely gonna need a left tackle. I think maybe getting another linebacker or so because a lot of their players went to the Bears surprisingly, but I think they'll get some. They definitely need a wide receiver. Definitely somebody else for Matt Ryan to throw the ball to. So maybe one of them Ohio State boys, even one of them Alabama kids. I mean, Alabama been producing a lot of good wide receivers lately. So I think you can. But like Jimmy said too, they usually address a lot of things during the draft. They don't really go out too much. I mean, you got one of the best running backs in the league too, so he's definitely going to help with that, and also help Matt Ryan in play action because if they left tackle don't get good, they're going to be in trouble.
Quick.
I heard.
Next team we're gonna go to Ralph. Ralph like multiple teams, so we gotta be a while. So we're gonna talk about.
It's only one team.
We're gonna talk about the cheaters.
The best team in the league.
We're gonna talk about the cheaters, the Patriots. What do you think? We're gonna give our opinion later. But what do you think, Ralph? We're gonna let you start because it's your team. What do you think the Patriots need to improve? So how can they help themselves in the draft? What do you think they need to address?
Well, I know what they're gonna do regardless.
Cheat.
Hater. What they're gonna do regardless is we know they're always gonna draft somebody late in the for the secondary. They always find secondary players out of small schools like Rutgers that are not known for football. So that I'm not even worried about. They're gonna do. What they really need, they need a playmaker. So they need a wide receiver. You did good last year with drafting Mac Jones. He's a franchise quarterback now. He turned out to be way better than a lot of people thought he was going to be. So now you need playmakers. You don't need a running back because they run it back by committee. You got 7 of them already. So me personally, I hope they go get one of the wide receivers out of Alabama. Maybe get the wide receiver from Georgia. Maybe Ohio State. That's what they really need. Defensively, their defense by committee as well. They can find anybody and make them good. So
Ohio State receiver ain't gonna make it with the Patriots because the Patriots have a complicated system.
Oh yeah,
as we know, Ohio State does not have the brightest individuals come through their school.
You're right. So that means probably the Alabama wide receiver probably fit because Alabama and New England run pretty much the same system. So, but yeah, that's what they're gonna need the most part is a wide receiver. I think you need to address that in the draft. You need to get your wide receiver, and it don't hurt to maybe. Get another good defensive player, probably somebody up front. So I think that's mainly what they need. Our offensive line is not the greatest, but it's fair for the most part for now. So they don't really need to do much to that. But depth always can make it better.
Okay, I got you. I'm gonna let you go on the double bubble since you're the only person with 2 teams. So, we'll give our take on the Patriots. I think the Patriots.
Don't be a hater.
No, I'm gonna be fair. Now, when I get to the Bucks, that's different. The Patriots, I think they do need receiver help, and this draft is loaded with receivers. So I definitely think they can get receiver help first, second, or third round. think they need receivers with height.
Definitely.
It wouldn't surprise me if they go get Jameson Williams or somebody from Alabama that played with Mac. I don't think Jameson Williams did because he was a transfer.
But they're in the same system.
But it wouldn't surprise me they get an Alabama boy. One of them USC guys. I definitely could see Belichick finding more depth or youth for the defense. So receiver and defense, that's how I pretty much see what New England doing to help them. Do I think it's gonna help? No, because I think they're in trouble.
They're not,
But,
and they already helped themselves with bringing back Malcolm Butler, who went down to Tennessee and was trash for the last 3-4 years.
And he finna
But
be trash.
you crazy. We'll come back this year. We already had this discussion. We said New England will go and get him a veteran cornerback and resign. Now that I think it was Malcolm Butler, definitely not. I thought his time in New England was over and it would never. I thought he burnt that bridge.
No more than Homer. What you think, Chris?
They definitely need to get the ball down the field instead of resorting to the running backs by committee. Historically, the Patriots have been dominant on defense when they can stop the run because they'll make another team one-dimensional. If they can get you just into your passing game, you don't have a shot against them at all. And that's what they've been lacking the last couple of years.
So we good. Now I'm gonna let Ralph talk about his team again, his next team. The Bucks.
My favorite player, not my team.
The Bucks.
Best QB ever.
So we're gonna talk about the Bucks. Trey, this for you too, since you and Ralph, the only people I know that like the Bucks, like the cheater. With Brady coming back, what do you think the Bucks need to address? Because they pretty much are, they still kind of stacked, So what do you think they need to address with the draft?
The same thing that they needed to address the last 2 years. The secondary. Secondary is atrocious. They are bad. You got lucky in grabbing Antoine Winfield Jr. a couple years ago. That was a big pickup. But you have nobody else. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Richard Sherman and them, but Richard Sherman, the same age as me now, and it's not gonna happen no more. So they need to get them a dynamic, playmaking corner that hopefully they can get one in the draft. Maybe not, I don't know. But that's their main focus. That's what they need to get. And you might need to get a little bit of offensive line help too, since you let 2 of your offensive linemen go. So that's what I think they need the most. They don't really need no wide receivers. I mean, they're gonna do that anyway in free agency if they can. So I mean, really, it's the secondary. That's the only thing they really need help with.
What you think, Brent?
I agree with my man over here, the secondary. You saw what happened in the playoffs.
I thought they played great myself.
To that last
One
drive, you can't let a guy get behind you like that.
At all. Not that now.
Secondary, they already signed. It was a Godwin they were signed back, so they don't need any help at wide receiver. Or there might need some depth at running back because one of their running backs signed on with the Chiefs. That's about it I can think of.
He didn't really play that much anyway.
I think secondary is a need for concern. I think they need to address that. I think running back, I really think they need to address running back. Fournette, I'm not the biggest Fournette fan. He runs hard, but he stay hurt. So I think they need help at running back, definitely get some young legs in there. I think those might be, like Ralph said, some offensive line help to get them a little depth. Because, Brady, if some break down, he gonna slide or just throw the ball in the ground. He ain't taking no hits.
Smart man. That's why he's still playing at 98 years old.
I think the secondary they first 2 picks should be addressed with the secondary. I'm one of those people, if you have a real need, first 2 picks address them. That's just me. So,
bring back a Talkin Sports.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it back.
Yeah.
God, you need that help.
So, the next team I was gonna do for you homers, but we'll save the worst for last. We're gonna talk about my Broncos. I'm predicting we finna shock the world. Super Bowl champs next year. Y'all heard it first.
Oh, please.
What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to say different?
Be honest, they're gonna lose.
You know, with the draft, we don't have a first round pick because we gave it up for Russell Wilson. I don't think we have a second round pick either. But I'm not even mad at not having both of them. We got a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we need to address just depth. Period. Just add more depth to the team. Get some offensive linemen. Get some defensive players. Since Melvin Gordon ain't coming back, thank you. We could draft another running back, you know. But I'm looking for depth. That's all I'm looking for. You know, linebacker, defensive line, offensive line. You know, our secondary, we dealing out secondary like you dealing out spades. We got a whole bunch of them. You know, that's like a trump card for us. So we just need depth. You know, and Russell Wilson to play better. But Chiefs, y'all done. So all you Chiefs fans, it's over with. What you think, Chris, about my Broncos?
Need to put the ball in the end zone.
They will.
Defense is decent. Now you got one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the history of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Playmaker, and I believe they'll be able to get it done. Unlike what they had in the past.
Exactly. We're not gonna even give Ralph a comment on this subject
because I'm
it's
gonna
not
hate.
gonna be
I'm gonna be a hater. Oh, I
It's
like
not
Russell
gonna be
Wilson
fair.
though.
It's
Russell
not gonna
Wilson
be
is my
fair.
fantasy football quarterback, but
you won't draft him this year, buddy.
I'll draft before you out there. But you know what? I will give y'all credit. You got the best deep ball quarterback now, and you got one of the faster young receivers in Judy. So I want to actually see how
Patrick.
Yeah, I want to see how actually good are they now, because now you have a quarterback that can get you the ball
There's no
downfield.
excuses now.
Yeah, exactly. So can you get open? Because we know he can throw the ball deep and accurately.
There's no excuses now for him.
Yeah.
You know, the last 3 years have been, they're quarterback away.
Mm-hmm.
They addressed it. So I'm excited.
I just know that whole AFC West is going to be very interesting.
That's a division
That's
where
probably the best division of football.
all 4 teams can make the playoffs.
All 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Look, the AFC West, AFC Central.
North.
What you say? North? Who's the North? Patriots?
No, that's the East. The North is
Pittsburgh.
Joe Burrow in there.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Pittsburgh. That's a bloodbath too, boy.
That's
So,
tough over there.
I can't wait till the schedule come out. Side note, we're gonna do a special short NFL schedule release show. So check that out. When the schedule get released, like the first week of May, your boy and them gonna do a show. Cause we gonna predict,
especially the Christmas Day games.
we gonna predict records, games we looking forward to, and it gonna be on video of my Bears bet. So for you suckers, when y'all lose, y'all won't say y'all didn't bet. So side note, be looking for the NFL schedule release show. So on that note, we're gonna go into our next favorite team to talk about. I know it is for me, because they done made me so much money over the years. The Chicago Bears. There's no team that I've ever loved like I love the Bears. You have gotten me through so much in my life. You got my kids through school. I need y'all to come through for about 6 more years. Isaiah will be out of college then, hopefully. So I need y'all to come through for me for about 6 more years. So they don't have a first round pick because they done traded everything for Justin Fields, another quarterback. They finna destroy his career because they not gonna do right by him. But for the sake of the show, and for you Bear fans, on the know-it-all, we're gonna talk about what the Bears need to address with probably, what they got, about 5 draft picks? Probably.
Something like that. They ain't got nothing.
Right,
Right. They got a second round.
What they need to address with their draft picks. So I'm gonna go first with the Bears since I love them so much. I'm such a Bear fan. So I think they need to address receiver. They receivers suck. Everybody talking about Mooney. Mooney is trash. Mooney is Johnny Knox all over again to me. Trash.
Ouch.
They need size They need to draft anything to help Justin Fields. They need to draft receivers. They need to draft offensive linemen because you're going to get the man killed within 3 years. He's going to be David Carr all over again. So, receiver, offensive line is what I think the Bears need to address real hard. Stop being cheap. Stop waiting on veterans to get cut June 1st. Then y'all sign them for about $400,000. You know, go young, get you some linemen, offensive linemen, get you some receivers. Your defense still so-so. Y'all made some smart moves getting rid of Khalil Mack, what I predicted on the show earlier that y'all should do. But those are the moves I think they should make. Chris, what you think they should do?
I agree with you on those points. As far as the receivers and the offensive line, they're going to have some help with the linebacker crew. Even though their pass rush is pretty good, but their linebacker gives up too many yards on the ground.
We doing the show.
They get
Let me
killed on the ground.
call you. I thought you were the show. Okay. All right.
And they need to get turnovers. They need to create turnovers. They didn't do a very good job on creating turnovers in the past. They're known for creating turnovers and scoring off of those, keeping them in the game when their offense is crappy.
Definitely.
And it showed up in the last couple of years where they haven't been in games because the defense gets tired. The defense is on the field all the time. So the offense has got to start putting up some yards, putting up and taking time of possession.
What you got, Ralph, on the bed?
They need to address the whole team. Everything except for the quarterback at this point. They need to go get them a big wide receiver. Like the last big wide receiver they had that was any good was Brandon Marshall, but you didn't draft him. So you need to probably go call Brandon Marshall and go see what type of insight he has on getting something from a small school like he went to, and get you a bigger wide receiver. Go call Dion. Go get to looking at the HBCU schools or something. You need a bigger wide receiver. You need somebody 6'3", 6'4", that's athletic. Mooney is nothing but a juju to me. Because mainly
he did good when it was somebody else getting attention.
Exactly.
And he was able to get numbers.
Exactly. But
he's number 33. So we'll keep going on that.
He's definitely not number one. He's gonna get exposed this year if they don't do nothing to help him. Defensively, I've been saying for the longest they need to get rid of Jackson. For the longest, he's trash. Get rid of him. You need to get you another corner, safety, probably get you another D lineman. But for the most part, the thing that you need to address the most, that they always have had the problem with, is the offensive line. You need everything on that line.
But
you got a couple good ones.
You know what? I'm going to give the Bears a little credit.
They drafted a good one last year.
I think the Bears ought to take the approach of the Rams. They should trade their first round pick every year. Their first round picks are terrible, other than Roquan Smith. They make better choices in the third, fourth, fifth round. And they'll find players and gems in the later rounds. But whoever they scout department for first round picks, they need to fight.
I think that's developmental problems too, though, in their front office. Like you're always drafting somebody who's a big name in college in the first round, but then so they think once they get there they stop working. So that's why them 2nd through 7th round picks historically for the Bears work better because they're working harder and they want to take that person's spot. They've only had maybe a handful of good first round picks.
Man,
like in the last 25 years, maybe 30 years.
Urlacher.
And after that, you start getting real, and you got Fields right now who we don't know what's going to happen unless they get help.
You can't even put Fields on there.
So you have to. I start.
They got one
developmental.
My boy Rex.
Yeah,
my boy.
But
Rex.
see, but see, the Bears are terrible at drafting quarterbacks.
They messed up Rex too. My boy Rex.
I think that's a developmental problem on their upper management. Like you're not developing players properly when you draft them in the first round. You're finding a good first rounder, but then that person is lazy and it's not trying to be the next Aaron Donald or the next whoever, whatever position he's playing. So that's their problem. They need to find somebody. You know what? It actually might be good this year that they don't have a first round pick and they got a 2nd round pick and they got a high 2nd round pick at that. So go address what you need to address. If you can't find a good offensive lineman, okay, go get the next available big player that might be a wide receiver. Because you definitely can address a wide receiver problem in this draft.
Or what I'm a fan of, and I've taken note of New England doing it for years. Trade that second.
Did you get New England credit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I trade that second round pick either to move down and get more picks, because the second round pick is so high. So you're gonna have a team that gonna want to move up to take a receiver or something like that. You could trade that second round pick and get you 2/3 in the fourth or something, for them to move up to that second round pick. So I think I'm a fan of having a whole lot of picks.
It helps you too. It helps you, especially in the later years when you had a great player that might have retired, and now it's time for you, especially if you got a quarterback, and it's been okay. Now it's time for me. My quarterback is now retired. Now I need to move up in the draft. Now I got 12 picks in this draft. Let me see how many first round picks I can get, because I want to get this quarterback. This is the quarterback I want.
Now, speaking of a lot of picks, I'm gonna do a little bonus real quick. The Chiefs. I'm interested with what the Chiefs. I'm interested. The Jets having a bunch of picks.
Trash.
I ain't even interested in that because they never do right.
Never.
The Eagles are a little intriguing because with the Eagles, what I would do, just like we just talked about with the Bears, I flip them 2 first round picks and give me a bunch of second round picks and third round picks. You know, I flip it to get depth. But I'm interested in the Chiefs. With the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill and stuff like that, they have a lot of things they need to address, and they're paying a lot of people. So the cap situation is kind of iffy. So getting rid of Hill, it may hurt in the short term, but I think it was kind of smart because you could go draft you a bunch of young dudes for cheap and still keep your team steady. So I'm gonna ask you guys. This is gonna be our last team with the Chiefs. What do you expect them to do in the draft? And I go first on this one again. I was expecting them to draft a receiver, but I think they're going to do something real slick. It wouldn't surprise me if they sound like them or Odell and let the other, like Hardeman, the other receivers play, keep them in the groove, and then let Odell come on later part of the season. I'm expecting them to draft for offensive linemen, defensive linemen, to address those areas, because I think with the offense they got, I think they finally started to realize we need some defense. We scoring 40, but we giving up 43. You know what I'm saying? So it wouldn't surprise me if they go get them some corners. You know, so I'm really intrigued about what the Chiefs gonna do in the draft, and I'm gonna really be paying attention, because they make 2 or 3 good moves, they could be a problem. So, Big Ralph, what you think about the Chiefs? I know they're your team competition with the Patriots. So, what you think Chiefs gonna do, man?
I think don't look like they're gonna re-sign Tyrann Matthew, so I think they need to address that safety issue. They definitely, and what I really think they're gonna do since they let go of Tyreek Hill, they're gonna look for another burner wide receiver, because it seems like that's what works for Patrick Mahomes in terms of having somebody, okay, I ain't get nobody else to throw it to, I throw it downfield to Tyreek Hill, I know he down now. So I think that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna get a safety. They definitely need to address the offensive line and defensive line, and they also gonna draft a burner wide receiver.
They might move up the tape. You know, I keep saying his name the whole show. You know, Jameson Williams again.
Yeah, you need a burner. Yeah, and you signed Juju, who I'm still not impressed with. Well, I've never been impressed with. But if you do go get an Odell, now you got 2 good wide receivers, and Odell is going to be your number 1. So now that takes a lot of burn off of Juju, depending on who you're playing against too. But their whole thing that's always been good with them is their slot receiver, because that's what Tyreek Hill's always played. Their slot receivers are their big thing. When they had Pringle, he was their problem too. So I think they'll do something like that. Or, draft a punt return like a Devin Hester type guy and, put him in special packages.
Okay, what you think, Chris?
From what I've seen, they definitely need to address their defense, because you have people like Allen from Buffalo just picking them apart. In that game, they went back and forth. That very exciting playoff game. And Joe Burrow picking them apart. You need to have some type of pass rush to get to the quarterback. And if you don't have that, they're going to get in a lot of shootouts like Indy back in the day, and also like Green Bay back in the day. And you can't get to the mountaintop if your defense is not sure yet.
Gotta have some.
Yeah, you're right. So, as I say, the draft, it's a lot of teams that's going to be real intriguing, which makes the draft so appeasing. So we all looking forward to it. Everybody excited about their draft except Bear fans because you're hopeless. But on that note, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my man Chris. I want to thank Big Lurch for coming out again. Anybody want to give shout outs before we get off the show? You got any shout outs you want to give, Chris?
Shout out to my favorite Bears fan, Keisha. You always try to dress up for them, and you've always been a big fan of theirs.
Okay, what you got, Ralph?
Shout out to all you bum fans of the Raiders, Jose Rios, Jimmy, sorry Bronco fan, all you Bears fan. I love y'all. Y'all, like Jimmy said, y'all are terrible. Love it. Go Patriots.
Okay, I always say love 10:30 after every show. You know, with it being the draft, we definitely, Bear fans, we definitely gonna talk. Cowboy fans, I ain't forgot about you, Moses.
Forgot about them.
I ain't forgot about you, Moses. You know, I never seen a team get so much hype and does nothing. So I can't wait to see what dumb move they do either. As we taping, you know, by the time we drop this, we looking at the Bulls as we taping, so that's why I keep looking at the score. The Bulls losing by 19. So by the time we drop this about Wednesday, the Bulls should be out the playoffs. So I hate to put dirt on you Bulls fans, but you know, that's what I do. So on behalf of the crew.
Real quick before I cut you off. Shout out to my boy Big Daryl, Stingley. I see your nephew.
Okay.
Still in the draft. Watch, I'm telling y'all, still in the draft. If y'all know anything about the Stingley boys and all that, you know his daddy played in the
I
league.
got you.
So watch out. One of the steals of the draft.
On that note, on behalf of the crew, this is Jimmy the Know It All. Thank y'all for watching us. Keep checking us out on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Facebook. Check out Facebook posts, Instagram. Check me out. I'll be on Water Break, giving that knowledge on Water Break too. Check me out on that. So look for us next week. We got another show coming next week. On that note, later.